Hello, my name is Tyson Morris, and this is my persuasive speech for public speaking. Electronic devices that we use during our everyday lives can cause harmful effects to other people. And you may be wondering why that is. I myself also wondered that. Me being a modern person, I have a habit of using a lot of electronics, such as phones, computers, such as the ones I'm recording this meeting with. But after conducting a lot of research, I came to realize that while these devices may make our lives more convenient, they do pose a problem for others. This is because a lot of the batteries that are used to power these products are made out of lithium ion, which is mined from the African continent primarily. And the method of mining these materials causes a lot of environmental issues, such as deforestation. As you can see in this picture here, it's a little bit hard to see, but this area used to be a clean forest, and then after lithium ion mining, there's a giant pit in the ground, which isn't good. That results in a lot of deforestation, which causes a decrease in air quality. As well, a lot of these mining operations rely on child labor and slavery, which causes suffering to other people, and it causes the endangerment of many native African species, such as the gorillas, which have declined by 60% in the past 20 years, according to worldlife.org. Modern people have become overly reliant on tech. We use it for almost everything we do, such as communication, keeping track of things, getting work done. And while this is convenient for us, we need to keep in mind how this can affect others and also affect the future of our planet that we'll have to live on indefinitely. As well as the issue of endangered species, which I mentioned before, slave labor, which is prevalent in Africa. Nigeria alone has over 1.6 million slaves according to World Population Review. As well, Africa will produce 40 tons and will produce 500 tons of lithium ion in 2030, which means that they plan on increasing their production, which will increase the problem, of course. This can affect us morally because we're allowing the suffering of other people, whether or not we can see them personally. If not directly, we're indirectly causing that, as well as our air quality can be affected as a result of the deforestation, lack of oxygen, which is produced by trees in the area, and chemicals released in the air and pollution from the pit mining. We need to be conscious about how much we use, how many of these electronics that contain these harmful materials. We need to be conscious of how much we use those. Ways we can do that is purchase less phones, which all contain lithium-ion batteries. This will reduce the demand for lithium-ion, which is extracted from Africa. That could help with the problem. We could advocate for human rights, which would pressure companies into refraining from buying from operations that abuse the rights of other people and harm the environment. We could support reforestation, which will help preserve our air quality. One interesting fact is that forests increased by 1.3 million square acres from 2000 to 2020, which is about the size of Peru, which proves that our reforestation efforts can work, they can cause benefits as long as we keep trying to do that. An example of advocating for human rights that worked in the past was the Montgomery bus boycott, which is an example of human rights pursuit, which means that if we did something similar, we could possibly help out the people, the less fortunate in the area, which are being affected by these operations. We can reintroduce species into the area that have been damaged as a result of the operations. A good example is the wolves, which were reintroduced into Yellowstone Park after they went extinct, and they're thriving now. All these things can work as long as we put in the effort to do it. Some may argue that we need electronics, which is true, such as we need medical equipment and we need some forms of communication and being efficient, but we only need some of them. We don't need all the fancy phones and computers that we all have. Some might think that's not our problem, that other people are suffering, but I think that it should be, because we as a human race need to be looking out for each other, whether or not it seems to directly affect us. If we pursue this, then the world can stay healthier for longer, and it can be a happier place. Otherwise, we can lose our planet earlier, and there would be suffering for many, many people. There's a huge contrast between these two outcomes, and I think the first one is a lot happier. So, in finality, restating everything that I said, we need to reduce electronics, boycott, fund reforestation, and to do this, we can skip upgrades, donate to charities. I work at Publix, and we did a charity fundraiser for the Harvest Day Foundation, which supports reforestation of trees. So that's a good example. We can speak up against companies that support organizations that abuse human rights and don't look after the environment. I'll leave you all with this. If you were in the shoes of someone who had to spend their whole life working in a mine, damaging their lungs, mining lithium for our phones and electronics, what would you want? What would you want you to do in that situation? And I'll leave you with that. Thank you for coming to my meeting. This is Tyson Morris. I'll see you next time.